What is up? Viper. A key. Motherfucker. I'm playing the Stanley Parable. I already played through the game a little bit, and it's crazy. And raw.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers. Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference. Nor
Got
did
this.
it advance the story in any way.
And we'll do that another time.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the
No, I
door
didn't.
on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite
It's
door.
like you can't put temptation to me like this. Why does it sound like keystrokes? Like he's typing at a computer.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up. Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
No, I didn't. I see duct tape. By the way, those adjustable
nothing here.
wrenches
No
suck.
No path to follow.
They
Just
suck.
an empty broom closet. No reason to still be here.
I don't know what kind of tool that is. Bad scripts ain't bad. They're not bad.
It was baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet. He wasn't even doing anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way. As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA.
Now this one you can crouch.
Are you really still in the broom closet? Standing around doing nothing? Well,
Sorry.
please offer me some
Sorry.
explanation here. I'm genuine. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Here's a bathroom. That's a toilet. I'm sorry. Fucking hate myself for making that joke. Go this way. Oh, what? There used to be a way that you could go right there.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number.
How do you spell boobs?
2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code.
It's dark. I'm scared.
Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway. Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he
Deeper.
felt a bit peculiar. It was
'Cause
a
she
stirring
said-
of emotion in his chest,
That's what
as
she
though
said.
he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job.
Bad joke.
Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Don't be sparking at me.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
No, I didn't.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death. But of course, Stanley thought better of it and realized he simply had too much to live for. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Maybe. Button.
Now the
I
monitors
like
jumped
pushing
to life,
buttons.
their true nature revealed.
What was his? It
Each
was.
bore the number of an employee in the building.
What is that
Stanley's
thing?
co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen. And Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
It was 423 or something. Which one's Stanley's? I have no idea where mine is.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
The last time I played, I didn't record, but I accidentally hit turn on instead of turn off.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him. For it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
Well, the door's not fully open.
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Not for long. No, look at that. Good old achievements. The game just resets, doesn't it?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
427.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Look at that phone. Turn off your computer when you leave, Sandy. Let's do this.
Oh, good. You noticed my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to show you. You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley Parable and about how roundly disappointing this ultra-deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley Parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this ultra-deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further. Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever, the Stanley Parable 2. Yes,
Well,
you see, isn't this far superior to a measly port with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for.
not really.
Calling it the Stanley Parable 2 is just so much catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you think?
No.
Ultra Deluxe? What does it
Look
even
at his
mean?
sticky notes.
But the Stanley Parable 2, now that's an artistic statement right there. It's future-oriented. It screams progress and innovation and long-term franchising potential.
I wonder how bad that would hurt if you got that thrown at you. Just thrown right at your noggin. Just. Whoa. Water. Lift up.
Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. It'll all work itself out. Game development is much more of a fuzzy magic than anything scientific or logical, really.
The Stanley Parable was filmed in front of a live audience. This reminds me a lot of like Portal and Gary's Mod for some reason. Ooh, a mug.
Here we are. Go on. Try out some of the...
That scared the shit out of me. Buttons. Does that mean like a real Stanley Parable 2 is in the works?
You know what? Let's bring the jump circle back for Stanley Parable 2 as well. It's... Oh, wait. You already spent all your jumps the first time we saw the jump circle.
Yes.
Well, I suppose it can just be a nice decorative piece then.
Fuck. Whoops.
Now, here's something special. You remember that broken test trophy that got left in the game on accident? Well, I'm developing a technology to simply give you the trophy. Yes. You see, you'll come to this lever, and when you pull it, the trophy will be given to you. Okay, perhaps I should have clarified. This is technology that will exist. Right now, the trophy is still fully broken. I'm not a wizard, Stanley, but I guarantee it will be fixed.
Oh, fix! I want trophy!
Satisfy the hordes of ravenous fans all over the world who have been uproariously demanding this feature. Gamers, we hear you, and I promise it will happen.
I don't think it'll happen.
What else? What other exhibits haven't we seen yet?
Whoosh.
Okay, I'll be honest, I haven't yet decided on this one. I think that in the new version, the office could use a bit of decoration, like balloons. But I'm undecided on Get Well Someday and Happy 12th Birthday. Which would you go with? You know, sometimes when you solicit another person's opinion, it makes you realize that you knew which one you actually really wanted all along. Get Well Someday it is.
No! 12th birthday.
Or actually,
It's a gift
maybe
shop.
I should have gone with... No, I've made my decision. We're moving on.
Now where should I go? I'm gonna go push these buttons.
For the Stanley Parable 2, I asked myself, what do players really want? And of course, the first and most obvious answer is that they want to be individually recognized and validated as people. So with that in mind, my first addition to the game is this button which speaks the name of the person playing the game. Isn't that wonderful?
Jim.
Sorry, I should have clarified.
Not
right
Jim.
now, the button only says the name Jim. But of course, in the final game, this button will say your name, whatever name that is. Here, let's have you role-play as Jim to really simulate the full experience of this feature. Just play along. I promise you'll love it.
No.
Okay, here we go. Let's take a deep breath, clear your mind, forget whoever you are, and simply become a person named Jim. I want you...
Jim.
Whoa, hold on. I wasn't finished setting up the backstory. If you don't properly roleplay as Jim, then you'll never understand the impact of this button. Otherwise, it's just a stupid button that says somebody else's name. Okay, we're doing it again, and this time let me finish
Immediately
first.
click it.
Now, allow yourself to become Jim.
Jim.
All right, fine, whatever. It's just a meaningless button that says Jim. You happy now? Get out.
Yes.
I'm done with this button. Why don't you go humiliate me in front of a different feature that I worked very hard on?
I will.
Maybe I'll only let people named Jim play the Stanley Parable 2. They would appreciate what I've created here. An epilogue would be fun, wouldn't it, Stanley? Yes, it will go at the end of the, well, we'll figure that out later.
I want in. How do you make the game reset? Y'all hear that?
Stanley, here's an idea that I'm truly fond of. It's never been done before in a video game. This is, in fact, a hole that you can fall down forever. That's right. Infinite falling. You can fall until the end of time, if you like. A stunning leap forward for video games as a medium.
Nope. So I reset the game. Another door right there. I'm gonna look around for a little bit longer. Oh. Oh. So is this supposed to be Stanley?
Ah, collectibles. Now it's a real video game. In the Stanley Parable 2, you'll run around gathering up these miniature Stanley figurines. And what's truly innovative is that there will be no reward for collecting all of them. I don't want to stifle the intrinsic joy of watching a number go up. You simply collect all of them, and then you move the hell on with your unremarkable life.
I can't go back. Oh, okay. Is that supposed to be Stanley?
God, it really is the worst when you collect everything in a video game and then they give you a big fancy reward for it. Absolutely tragic.
Oh, exit.
Oh, goodness, Stanley, this is fairly awkward. I hate to do this, but before you leave, you really should go to the bucket exhibit. You see, there's a surprise I was going to spring on you later, and it involves
The bucket exhibit?
And I really do hate to break the illusion, but it's important that you go see the bucket, okay?
Where's the bucket
All right,
exhibit?
I'll get out of your hair now.
Where's the bucket exhibit, huh? I'm about to bing this shit. Oh, found it. Alright, Mr. Narrator.
A common complaint of the Stanley Parable was that it was confusing and paradoxical, that it engendered a chaotic sense of reckless despair in those who played it. Well, I am happy to say that after much consideration, I've engineered a clever solution to this fundamental problem with the game. It's the Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket. You see, Stanley, anytime you're holding the bucket, a sense of calm and ease will fill your mind and your heart. It's true. As long as you hold on to the bucket, the many disorienting contradictions of the Stanley Parable will feel perfectly normal and perhaps even comforting. You may even come to long for the gentle embrace of jarring cognitive dissonance while the bucket is in your
Can I have the bucket? I want the bucket.
It's a much more convenient solution for me than actually redesigning the game to be less uncomfortable. Can you imagine what a pain in the ass that would be? Yes, the bucket is the perfect solution. Come on, give it a try.
Here's the bucket. I don't feel calm.
Feel it? The glow of comfort.
I don't feel
even
calm.
in the
I'm
face
freaking
of
out.
crushing despair
I'm
must already be
panicking.
sweeping
I'm
through your
panicking.
body. And in fact, can I say that I do believe the bucket lends you an air of charisma as well? I think that just holding it
Chair.
has made you the slightest bit more attractive as a person. The benefits of the bucket seem to go on and on, don't they?
This bucket isn't
All
calming
and
me.
more await you in the Stanley Parable 2.
Oh, I get to keep the bucket? This bucket is not helping.
Does anyone give out awards for most enjoyable bucket in a video game? That really should be an award if it isn't already.
Where's the exit again? Here's the bucket. Listen, motherfucker. So does that mean I get to keep the bucket? What if I don't want the bucket? Briefcase.
So, Stanley, what do you think? Do you like all of the new features?
I don't
know
like
it's
the
not exactly
bucket.
clear yet how exactly these features
I'm
will come
scared.
together as one single coherent video game, but I can feel it in my soul. It's going to work. There's definitely a good game in there somewhere. Say, let's do an experiment. I'll arrange these new features together, and we'll see whether or not it coheres into a meaningful gameplay experience. Okay. Are you ready? Here it is.
The bucket is scary.
Stanley Parable 2. I mean, there's potential here, right? It's sort of...
I want to go on the jump button.
Hold on. Let me do a different arrangement. Okay, yes, this is much better. I feel good about this. Here we go. Version 2.
Oh,
Who am I kidding, Stanley?
there's more
It
buckets.
isn't a coherent video game at all. It's a lot
There's
of
more
gags.
buckets.
And I do very much
There's
enjoy
3.
creating gags, but they don't add up to anything.
There's 4 buckets.
I wanted more than anything to create a sequel that would capture all the magic of the first game. I wanted fans to love it. No matter how good these gags are, they won't stand on their own. They would need the structure and the gameplay of the original. Wait, maybe that's it. I can take the original Stanley Parable and simply...
That me?
Well, insert a few of my new features into it. Tastefully, of course. With respect. With care for the vision and integrity of the original game. Would it possibly work? I suppose it could. But it would need a really, really tremendous title screen. A title screen that says with bold and uncompromising conviction, "This is the Stanley Parable 2. Let me see if I can whip something up. All right, perfect. Go ahead. Take a look.
This game is just wild. What? And if it's like a girl, narrator, she's like super bitchy. She's like just mean to the player. She's like, wow, you do this like crap. Just like condescends you. Just like as a jerk. It's like, what the hell?
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was...
Balloons!
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Fucking balloons. The bucket!
Stanley picked up...
Oh, what the fuck? Can I put the bucket down? Oh, the door's closed now.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
No, I didn't.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No, said the bucket. Don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo. Good, said the bucket. Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It
How do
should
you
have
get
alarmed
it?
him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to
How do you
him.
get in there?
He unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
Uh-oh, I missed that. I wonder how you could get there.
In here, said the bucket. Go into this dark room over here.
Stanley once
This
again
one?
obeyed blindly.
I don't like this.
Now pick up the phone, said...
That scared me. Now what?
This This is the sad story of a man named Stanley and his bucket. Once upon a time, I gave Stanley a bucket because I thought he was lonely and could use a friend. And then, very distressingly, he began to believe the bucket could speak to him.
Is this apartment? This is nice. So this is a nice apartment. Yeah, that's a Gary's mod, or am I crazy? Where's my bucket? He has a key bowl. The bucket!
The Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket was merely meant to provide the comforting glow of companionship. It doesn't literally talk and give you orders. Whatever Stanley is hearing the bucket say to him is just in his head.
No, it isn't. He's real. My bucket. I don't want to pick it up. I don't want him anymore. He scares me.
Lately, I've been concerned about him. Wouldn't you be concerned as well? To see him delusional like this, obsessing over an inanimate metal object? I want to say something to him, but I don't know how I can convince him. I don't know if he'll listen to me.
Scare the shit out of me.
Oh, I'll try anyway. Stanley? Can you
What?
hear me? Listen
Yeah.
to me. It's just a bucket. It can't think, it can't talk. All it will ever truly do for
my
you is
bucket.
effectively transfer a liquid from one location to a different location. That's it. It doesn't do anything else. You see, he's not listening. He's still taking orders from the bucket. You know,
Whoa.
once upon a time it was me he took orders from. Me he trusted and listened to. Now all he cares about is his awful bucket. This stupid hunk of metal.
What the fuck?
It's sad,
Ooh!
but I suppose he doesn't need me anymore. From now on, he's just going to cling to this bucket, this cold, empty bucket, this sort of shiny bucket. Well, I'll give it this. The bucket does have a nice shine to it.
No, the bucket's on top of the computer.
Yes, I suppose on closer inspection, it
Oh
doesn't
my
quite
God.
look like your average
The
hardware
narrator's now going
store. A
crazy.
little more, what am I trying to say? Sturdier, more capable of transporting liquid. Likely better at moving an amount of water from one room to another. Oh my God, what am I saying? Better at carrying
My
water
light.
from room to room. It's a bucket. It's literally just a bucket. Why do I feel some need to point out the ways in which it's so much more than just a regular bucket? Oh no. I'm having feelings for the bucket. No. What's going on? Why do I want to be
Whoa.
the bucket? Hear what the bucket has to say. Do anything it asks. What's wrong? I don't understand.
Look at the picture.
Perhaps if I had the bucket, this would be less confusing. Yes. The bucket could tell me what to do in this troublesome situation. Stanley, give me the bucket. Give it to me. Give me the bucket,
No.
Stanley. I need it. Give it to me now. Give it or I'll...
My bucket. His name is Fredwick. Go back to work, family. Must find the bucket.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Stanley lifted the bucket into his arms, and a wave of comfort rushed over him. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers.
Oh, Stanley, can you feel it? The broom closet. It wants the bucket. You can feel that, can't you? The aura of jealousy? It's as clear as day. This broom closet believes it deserves the bucket. I can really feel it now. It's a bucket. It belongs in a broom closet. That's what the broom closet is trying to say here. It's supposed to go with the other cleaning supplies. Good for you, Stanley. Don't give in. Don't hand over the bucket. I know how hard it must be, given the pressure that the broom closet.
How do I hand over the bucket?
Strong. This is your bucket. This is your companion and lifelong friend. You can't hand it over.
His name's Hedwig.
We're getting into name-calling now, it seems. Is this how low the broom closet has sunk, that it has to resort to this stream of petty insults simply in order to get you to hand over the bucket? Stanley, I never liked this broom closet for a variety of reasons, but even this is worse than I had imagined.
Yeah.
And wait, now the broom closet has the gall to imply that you and the bucket are not truly deep and lasting friends. That your relationship is purely superficial and convenient? That your life is so banal and meaningless that you'd feel the same sort of kinship towards any inanimate object which happened to lay in your path in an even partially enticing manner? Well, I never. Go on, Stanley. Lay into it. Really tell the broom closet off for its demeaning comments. Expand on the wide variety of experiences you and the bucket have shared.
This game is ridiculous.
Go through each of them point by point. Share your journal entries detailing the rich emotional landscape of your feelings for the bucket as they have changed and evolved over the years. Let him have it.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs.
Stanley and the bucket. Oh!
You found one of them. One of the miniature Stanley figurines. Remember, no reward for collecting all of these, only the intrinsic pleasure of a job well done. You can't buy that sort of happiness, Stanley. God knows I've tried. So, I implore you to savor each.
I didn't even notice it at
come
first.
across one of these beautiful figurines.
Okay, so that, I don't think that was here before. I don't think the soap was here before. So I'm pretty sure that's a map in Gary's mod. So is this. Yeah, see? I don't know if that sun was in real life or the game. By the way, this elevator didn't go anywhere, it didn't do anything. What? It's an elevator, so. Oh! Tell me where to go.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life.
Look at the
Crushed by the
bucket.
weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket. Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be with him always.
Why does he have two globes?
The bucket would, and he knew it. The two of them were inseparable. At this point, Stanley was so absorbed in the tender spiritual connection he shared with the bucket that he didn't notice the keypad behind the boss's desk. Nor in his bliss of simply being near the bucket did he have any notion that the PIN number for the keypad was 2845. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket
Yes.
guiding him? Yes.
Yes,
This is
the
certainly the most
bucket.
logical
The
explanation.
bucket is guiding me to my demise. I'm gonna do the escape exit instead of the other one.
The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine.
Oh.
Wait, Stanley said to the bucket. Can we go back up? When I was pressing those keypad buttons, there was something very intriguing about the number 3. I want to go back so I can try pressing the number 3 again. The bucket
I didn't mean to do that! Whoops.
Here we are, said Stanley. Now I'm going to try out that number 3 button. He took the bucket over to the keypad and began absolutely slamming on the number 3 over and over and... Wow, he said. The number 3 is such a special button. I'm having the time of my life. Stanley looked expectantly at the bucket, but the bucket remained silent. This was a shock to Stanley, who had always felt such a connection with the bucket. How was this not as exciting to the bucket as it was to him? Once Stanley, perhaps the bucket had missed something. Perhaps it had not seen how much joy Stanley got from slamming the number 3 repeatedly.
That's so crazy.
A hint of regret nagged in the back of Stanley's mind. Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley and the bucket would both
Stanley
meet
and
a
the bucket.
violent death.
I'm sorry, bucket.
The door behind them was not shut. Stanley and the bucket still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley and the bucket were knowingly walking forward into a very painful death for each of them.
Ah, crap.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley and the bucket inched closer to their demise, Stanley reflected on how meaningless the bucket's warmth and comfort had turned out to be. To be
Damn.
sure, it puts the mind and the soul at ease to embrace the bucket, but what use is a sense of ease when you're about to be crushed to death? This is what Stanley thought to himself, and he sort of kicked himself for
Oh,
losing so
no.
much time carrying a bucket everywhere. Farewell, Stanley.
Oh.
Farewell, Stanley, cried
Whoa.
the narrator, as Stanley and the bucket were led helplessly
This
into
is
enormous
Stan-
metal jaws.
This is
In
Stanley
a
and the
single
bucket.
visceral instant, the bucket's life came to an end.
The bucket's
was crushed
bucket's
violently
life,
to
my
death.
life.
It It was a shame, the death of such a magnificent bucket. It's true that all buckets are radiant in their own way, but this one stood above the rest. It was a glorious bucket to behold.
Oh, I lost my bucket! You'll never know that.
Can you see how arrogant it was for Stanley to take a bucket like this and to claim it for his own? Can you see the hubris that blinded him? Can you see that the bucket is far more noble than Stanley will ever be in his
What
short
the
life?
fuck? That's kinda hurtful. Look. Really? The bucket?
No man can own a bucket, and certainly not a bucket as dazzling to behold as this one. It is man who should kneel before the bucket.
This bucket thing is. Oh, should I go for it? Oh. Got the bucket back.
But there is something we can do. Something we can do together, you and I, that will right this terrible wrong. Let Stanley die. Let him be crushed by the machine.
What?
Don't reset the game. Don't give him another opportunity to.
I still have the
another
bucket.
beautiful bucket. We can save the
I still have the bucket.
as tools and implements. Let Stanley die.
I don't
The
wanna die.
bucket shall take its place as ruler, as leader, as commander of a new world. A new
What the-
vision.
What the hell? I don't like the bucket now.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Fuck you, bucket.
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way. When Stanley came to a set of two open, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was sublime, a work of art. What was it about this room that called so deeply and so personally to Stanley? Its grace, its subtle charm? No. Stanley knew it was something deeper, something darker.
Something darker.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Oh!
Another miniature Stanley figurine. This,
Yay!
You know, there
I got
really
3
must
more
be
to
a
go.
Snappier name for these things. What about mini stands? Stanley
Mini
figures.
stands.
Oh, What about Stanlerines? Yes,
I like
think that.
Stanlerines.
Another Stanlerine under your belt.
Oh, I'm yawning. Can I jump off of here? Uh-oh.
Stanley had now gotten himself so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun from so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun from so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun from so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun from so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun from so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun.
You didn't think I was actually just a recording, did you? What a silly and trite explanation that would be. All the back and forth between you and me, all the absurd adventures we've been through, and it all turns out I'm just a tape recording? It was all just in Stanley's head. I bet that's the kind of twist you think is revelatory. I bet each and every time you watch a movie where it turns out all to be in the main character's imagination, you must absolutely bolt off the couch in pure shock at the phenomenal and intricate storytelling. It must be so simple to be you. Life being an unending waterfall of surprises and delights. How much more exciting you must find the world than the rest of us do. Now I've become sad. Look what you've done to me. This is all your...
I didn't do shit! Ooh. Oh! What'd I do? My brain doesn't like this. I don't want to be here anymore. Buttons. Bro, how do I fix